One day until the midterms, we are talking election security and how Wisconsin will keep your votes safe.
Another somewhat controversial call, another momentum-shifting fumble, and another loss for the Pack this morning. We'll recap last night's game against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Whoop. Sorry, fans. Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. Not only is it a Monday, this November 5th, but we've got the Packers' loss to talk about and kind of a gloomy day out there.
Another woof.
Yeah, we could use some sunshine today, right? But unfortunately, it's just not in the cards for us today. We have cloudy skies right now, and it looks like those clouds will stay put. No rain, though. I guess that's the good news. We have a relatively dry start. I've had a little bit of drizzle on and off in the patio this morning, but nothing that's measurable. Our temperatures early this morning are right around 40 degrees here in Madison and many locations. A little bit cooler to the north, with temps now dropping into the 30s from the Dells northward. Temperatures over the next 12 hours will climb steadily but very slowly. 48 is the high today, with winds from the south. Now, here's a look at your first alert traffic maps early this morning. We'll show you if there's anything of note on the maps early today. We are seeing some slowdowns on Stoughton Road just south of East Washington, so keep that in mind. A little slow going on Verona Road as well this morning. We're adding just a couple of extra minutes to your commute right now, with travel a little bit slower in that construction zone. And that's your first alert traffic.
Things, the bottom is going to just fall out here later this week. I know we're all getting like the layers ready. I know.
Do you have that winter jacket close by? Because I think you'll need it by the end of the week.
We will get an update on that. Thanks, Hads.
You're welcome.
With just 24 hours to go until Election Day, there is a last-minute push by candidates to convince voters across the state today. Democratic candidates for the statewide races are going to be joining Tony Evers this afternoon for a particularly special campaign event, his birthday. The Democratic candidate for governor will be making stops in Beloit, Janesville, and Whitewater before his final stop here in Madison at the Majestic Theater on King Street. That's where he'll be hosting a Get Out the Vote rally and birthday celebration. His running mate, Lieutenant Governor candidate Mandela Barnes, will meet him at the Majestic. Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin will be with him on all of today's stops. And candidate for Attorney General Josh Kaul will join him as well after his own trip across the state. That event starts at 4. Evers turns 67 today.
No word on where Attorney General Brad Schimel will be today, but other Republican candidates will be out making their final push for your vote. U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir will be in Green Bay, Wausau, Eau Claire, and La Crosse before meeting up with other GOP leaders in Waukesha tonight. That's where Governor Scott Walker and outgoing House Speaker Paul Ryan will be as well. We do have a complete voter guide on channel3000.com with everything you need to know ahead of casting your ballot tomorrow. Just click on the banner on the homepage for a full list of candidates, referenda, and day of registration information.
Your vote is secure. That's the message from the Wisconsin Elections Commission ahead of the midterms.
Yeah, the agency has hired more people to handle security with the hope of preventing hacking attempts like the one we may have seen during the 2016 presidential election. With more on all that, Josh Breiter's live at the state capitol with what you need to know going into tomorrow. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. After the federal government awarded Wisconsin nearly $7 million in grants, the Wisconsin Elections Commission was actually able to beef up that security. It did take a little bit more time than originally planned for, though. They did add some more staff, purchase new software, and provide more training to clerks and poll workers. Just remember, what you see released as far as the latest numbers go tomorrow night is unofficial. Officials say there are a lot of human-driven processes that protect the election. It first goes through your municipal board of canvass, then your county board of canvass, then to the state, which actually certifies those results before they are made official.
All three of those steps are actually public processes where you can go and observe exactly what goes into certifying the totals of the election.
With the help of that grant, the Elections Commission was able to add 6 new positions specifically focused on all things security come tomorrow. The governor has also activated the Wisconsin National Guard's cybersecurity team to assist if need be tomorrow. You shouldn't notice anything, I'm told, different at the polls come tomorrow for Election Day, ladies.
It is important to know, though, because of that attempted hack back in 2016. So definitely important information to share. Josh Breiter reporting live from the Capitol. Thank you, Josh.
The federal government wants to make sure public confidence in this election is high. So tomorrow, attorneys from the Department of Justice are going to have 3 election officers on hand here in Wisconsin to handle any voting rights or election fraud complaints. Federal law bans intimidating or bribing voters, altering vote tallies, or marking ballots for voters against their wishes. If you encounter any of that while you're at the polls, you're asked to call that number right there on your screen. The FBI is even going to have special agents available at each field office, that includes here in Madison, to look into any allegations on Election Day.
If you need help getting to the polls tomorrow,
there are a couple of ways to do that without having to pay for it. Uber and Lyft will offer $10 off of rides to the polls, which could mean your ride is free. Fitchburg Family Pharmacy is also offering free rides to people on Election Day. You don't have to be a patient or a customer to get that ride. Their number is right there on your screen. Union Cab and Common Cause of Wisconsin are also offering a lift free of charge.
Political science experts at UW-Madison will break down results of tomorrow's midterms with live analysis on campus. Poli-sci professors David Cannon and Ken Meyer, along with journalism professor Michael Wagner, will put returns into context and talk about potential implications as the results come in. Now, people are encouraged to come out with questions as well. It starts at 8 o'clock at the Union South Marquee Cinema. We will share updates from that discussion tomorrow right here on News 3 at 10.
News 3 will have team coverage of the election here in Wisconsin and across the country, starting with CBS News national coverage. That's going to start at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, once polls close at 8 o'clock here, we'll be live streaming comprehensive local coverage and analyzing the numbers in real time, both on channel3000.com and our WISC-TV Facebook page. Then at 9 p.m., our local coverage will be available over on Fox 47. And at 10 p.m., you can join us on WISC for election night coverage you can count on to be fast and accurate.
I am fairly certain this will not win the popular vote. It's another fumble and another loss to talk about this morning, as the Packers will travel back to Green Bay with a losing record. The Packers were seemingly holding their own, tied with the Patriots at the start of the fourth quarter last night. And then, first play of that quarter, New England's defense forces this fumble out of the hands of Aaron Jones. Yikes. That set up a trick play where Julian Edelman hucked a 37-yard completion to former Badger James White right there. A little trick play. The Pack was missing quite a few players yesterday. Cornerback Kevin King out with a hamstring injury. Safety Kentrell Bryce was out after hurting his knee. And then this happened. Packers safety Jermaine Whitehead was ejected from the game for slapping the Patriots center. That said, New England didn't have Rob Gronkowski or Sony Michel. We can make excuses all morning long, but the point is, final score 31-17. The Pack is back at home against the Dolphins Sunday afternoon.
That slap, though, it's sort of hard to watch.
It's really interesting, too, because there's a lot of conversation this morning about whether or not he should have actually gotten ejected yesterday, whether or not it was flagrant. So you should look at that and definitely throw in your opinion if you'd like.
Google it. It is something to watch.
Yeah.
All right, 6:07 your time now. There's a chance for you to check out a place that's bringing important resources to African-American families in our area. We're going to introduce you to the woman behind the Progress Center for Black Women. That's coming up after the break.
Before that, we are back to having some light during the show. All righty. Sun comes up around 6:40 this morning, but Hattie says we will likely be rainy again this afternoon. Her first alert forecast is next on News 3 this morning.
This portion
Good morning from the patio. A little breezy at times outside this morning, but at least I don't need the umbrella right now. We do have some more rain, though, in the forecast starting later on today. Wanted to let you know that tomorrow is still an alert day in the forecast. Even though the storm doesn't look as strong as it once had, we're still looking at some rain on Election Day, windy and chilly conditions. So keep that in mind as you head out to vote tomorrow. In fact, here is that voting forecast for southern Wisconsin, and it is looking a little wet to start the day with some showers diminishing as we go through the morning hours. By lunchtime, mid-40s for temps. We do have windy and chilly conditions, though, as we head through the afternoon. Now, here's a look at our radar map early this morning. We did have some rain yesterday, adding up to about 3/4 of an inch here in Madison, higher amounts to the west. Right now, though, nothing showing up on the radar map. There is a little bit of drizzle. I've been seeing that on and off here in the backyard weather patio, but it's just too light to be detected by the radar. There is a lot of rain, though, to our south and west, and in between those rain bands, we are looking at a lot of clouds. So we have clouds to start this morning. It looks like they're going to stay put as that next band of rain heads in our direction. Again, quiet right now here across southern Wisconsin, but rain is expected later this afternoon. Here's a look at your current temperatures. We have 40 here in Madison and Prairie du Chien, holding steady at 43 in Janesville. The Dells, well, you're a little cooler there with 38 degrees this morning. Winds from the southwest, anywhere from 8 to 15 miles an hour, a little breezy at times. Future track is pretty consistent with the cloud cover across the area this morning. Temperatures will be getting into the upper 40s today, but late this afternoon, some rain begins to push back into southern Wisconsin, and then it increases in coverage for the entire area through the evening into the overnight hours. The rain is still likely going to be around as you wake up on Tuesday, but it will be diminishing from west to east through the morning hours. Total precipitation amounts, again, are expected to be less than an inch, less than half an inch in many spots. Here's a look at that precipitation potential. Highest amounts to the east of Madison, but most areas picking up half an inch or less. Your extended forecast then has temperatures that are going to cool down. We are talking a big cool down by the end of the week. And then as well, we're looking at the potential for a few chances for light snow showers in that extended forecast, with temperatures topping only in the lower 30s. A couple of clipper systems moving through, bringing some chances for light snow late Friday, late Thursday into Friday, and then again late Saturday into Sunday. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We'll show you what's happening on the roads here in and around Madison. No major delays popping up yet on the Beltline. Volume is still pretty low. No accidents around Dane County as well, so travel looking good into the city. Speaking of into the city, we're not looking at major slowdowns in the downtown areas just yet. Give it about an hour for those traffic volumes to increase. Otherwise, you're still going at posted speeds as you head into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thank you so much, Hattie. It might be fitting for us to be talking about the chance for snow and certainly those cold temperatures, because this week is Winter Weather Awareness Week.
And Chris Reese is here joining us now, and you wanted to kind of break down what some of these terms, unfortunately, we're going to hear much more often.
Yeah,
and
one of them Hattie just mentioned, and that was Alberta Clipper. So let's go ahead and dive into what an Alberta Clipper is, just because I think you're going to hear us mentioning an Alberta Clipper as we go through the next 10 days multiple times. For one, this starts out as a regional low pressure that forms along the Canadian Rockies. Now that encounters cold air as it works its way on in and gets caught up in the jet stream. That zips across the country very, very quickly, and then eventually, these systems leave typically around Wisconsin about 1 to 3 inches of snow, but some of them could be much lighter and only bring an inch or flurries at that. So let's go ahead and look at our upper air weather pattern, just because we are getting in on a big change. It's going to start on Election Day. We've got a lot of cold air working its way into the region, and we are talking cold air that is impressive for this time of the year as well. We're talking some days could have mornings in the teens, but that will take us all the way through the next couple days, or really the next 10 days as we go through November. I do want to go ahead and start, though, with this regional low pressure, because this is the rainfall that's coming in on Election Day. And I want to go ahead and show its connection to the cold air. Watch that northwesterly flow, as you can see on the winds behind that. That will be increasing as this low departs. Of course, it's pulling in that cold air. And with each push of cold air, especially those reinforcing shots, will come a region of low pressure coming out of Alberta, Canada, that will zip across the country, and those will all bring us at least chances to see some snow. So let's go ahead and put future track into motion. Here we are on Friday morning. You'll notice chances for snow across the area. That'll be very quick moving. I'm not expecting much in the way of any kind of accumulation out of that. Then we get into Friday night. We have another piece of energy that zips on through here. That'll bring chances for some snow. We'll get a break, but then Saturday night into Sunday comes another piece that'll bring some chances into snow. Then on Monday, we're already watching the next system that will be diving in as we come into Monday and into Tuesday. So Clipper mania, if you will, but that's all a part of our pattern that is ultimately going to be below average, and I think I accidentally typed above average there. It's the morning, and sometimes you are in a rush, but below average temperatures are going to be very likely as we go through the next 6 to 10 days, and really through the month of November, we have a pretty strong chance of seeing below average temperatures along with above average precipitation. So that could lead to above average snowfall for the month as well. Either way, no matter how you slice it, or no matter how you shovel it, it is looking like things will at least be cold in the near term.
Now that I know what an Alberta Clipper is, the term Clipper mania is not something I wanted to hear come out of your mouth this morning.
The Clipper train, Clipper mania. I was like, we can just dub terms for this one, but I do think we'll have several chances for Alberta Clippers in the next 10 days.
And just wait until those Saskatchewan screamers come.
Oh, yeah!
Can't
Adam
wait.
Schrager's favorite.
Yeah, I know. That one gets me every time.
I know, it's good stuff.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
Your time right now is almost 6:18, and a mom and dad are trying to make the best out of an absolutely horrible experience by making sure no other family has to go through what they did with their son. We'll tell you about the device they say could save lives.
And Hattie's talking about rain jacket weather for the kids' ride home this afternoon. Your first alert forecast is coming up when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. It's Monday morning. We're starting with cloudy skies, but at least the rain has let up for a bit. A dry start today with temperatures in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. Some updates this hour now. 39 now in Platteville and Mineral Point, still holding on to 40 here in Madison. Winds are from the southwest, anywhere from 8 to 15 miles per hour. A little breezy at times. Here's a look at your bus stop weather forecast. We have temperatures that will stay in the 40s today, so don't forget that jacket. Cloudy skies through the day, but later on this afternoon, probably after school is already out, chances for rain return to the area. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you so much, Hattie. 6:22 your time now. 2 football players that have committed to becoming Badgers next year are up for a major honor, but they're going to need some votes to get there. Keanu Benton of Janesville Craig High School and Julius Davis from Menominee Falls are up for the last 2 roster spots for the 2019 Under Armour All-American game. That game features the top 100 high school football players in the country. Keanu Benton is getting a full ride scholarship to UW-Madison. He'll be the first Janesville player to do that in 4 decades. Benton and Davis made it through to the 3rd round of voting. That's open now through Thursday. The All-American game is January 3rd in Orlando, Florida.
Congrats to them. That's pretty cool. There's an opportunity to check out a new resource center today that is dedicated to supporting Black women in our community. The Progress Center for Black Women is holding a week-long open house starting today for community members to check out its new computer lab, library, and community kitchen. You can see what they have to offer today through Saturday. Now, according to a recent report, African-American women living in Dane County make $15,000 less every year compared to white women in this community, and $23,000 less annually than white men.
Counties across the state are looking for more child protection funding as the number of kids being taken out of their homes is on the rise. State figures show that 7,900 kids were living in out-of-home care as of August. That's an increase of about 26% since 2012. Wisconsin Public Radio reports that number is growing due to more drug use by parents. 7 counties so far have passed resolutions asking for an additional $30 million in state funding for next year's budget to help with that problem.
There is an effort in southwestern Wisconsin to save more lives, all in the name of a 9-month-old boy.
His name is Cayman. Matt and Courtney Brigman describe him as a stinker, a smiler, and most of all, after 2 older sisters, the final addition that made their family complete. When Cayman was just 9 months old, though, he choked on a bouncy ball. Mom and Dad couldn't get it out of his mouth, and first responders couldn't either. After he was med-flighted to Madison, Cayman Brigman was declared brain dead.
And there's times like I've came across his baby book, and it just stops at 9 months. You know, and it's like, oh, what'd you do for your first birthday? What'd you do for your second birthday? And it's like, I can't write anything because he wasn't here.
It has been 2 years since the Brigmans said goodbye to their baby boy, but they are trying to help make sure no other parent loses a child the way they did by pushing to get a life vac in every ambulance in the area. It's a simple tool that can help suction out something that might be stuck too deep down someone's throat to be easily taken out. We're going to tell you more about the Brigmans' journey and why they're the first to fight for a life vac in the entire state of Wisconsin. That story's coming up tonight on News 3 at 10.
Really looking forward to that. It's just a terrible, terrible story, but I'm glad they're finding some way to make it, you know, so maybe another baby's life doesn't have to end this way.
And not even just children, but adults as well. And no other ambulance in the entire state has seen something like this. So hoping to make a larger change.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks.
All right, 6:25 your time now. We are looking ahead to how the state is making sure your vote is protected. Josh Spreiter has that update after the break.
And the city is considering adding some modern touches to one of the more historic school buildings here in Madison. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning.
In my
Madison police are meeting with people on the west side about a spike in car thefts by teens.
We're just one day away from the election, and we're looking at security this morning. I'm Josh Bryder live at the Capitol with how the state is working to prevent voter fraud.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:29 now on this very, very Monday, November 5th. You can ask Danica. We're pretty tired.
We're
up
all
here
feeling
today.
it today for some reason. Part of it has to be because of this weather. Turning it over to Hattie now out on her patio. Back from a week off, and Hattie, you're bringing not such a wonderful Monday to start the week.
I know. I wish I could bring some sunshine on this Monday morning, but it's just not in the cards for us today. At least you don't need your umbrella this morning, though that's a change from yesterday. Here's a look at the Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam. Just a little bit of color there on the horizon as the sun comes up this morning. We're not going to see much sun, though, through the day. Lots of clouds in place. In fact, here's a look at Weather Track on the Midwest perspective. Clouds covering the entire state this morning, and a lot of rain to our south and west. That is all moving in this direction. So later on this afternoon, you'll need the umbrella. It will be a wet commute home from work. Here's a look at our temperatures, though, this morning. We're starting out right around 40 degrees in many spots. A few cities have dipped now into the 30s. We have 39 in Mineral Point and Platteville, 38 in the Dells this morning. But as you head out the door, again, keep in mind you'll need the umbrella later on after 3 p.m. Temperatures, though, aren't going to move much today. We'll top only in the upper 40s this afternoon. Again, that rain is in the forecast later today. Your first alert traffic maps this morning showing you that there are no major delays on the Beltline right now or in the downtown areas. No accidents to report across southern Wisconsin, which is always great news. Volume relatively low, so you're still heading at posted speeds into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. 6:30 right now, and we start this half hour with the election. You may remember the state received $7 million from the federal government earlier this year to make sure this year's elections are secure.
You're going to see that money in the form of extra workers at the polls and upgraded security systems to make sure your vote is safe. Our Josh Bryder is live at the state capitol this morning with how those efforts are working. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Of course, all of the focus during this election went to security after Wisconsin was one of the states that was hacked back in 2016. Over the weekend, the governor actually activated the Wisconsin National Guard to help assist tomorrow if needed when it comes to security. The Wisconsin Elections Commission has been able to add 6 new positions, specifically focused on all things security during the election. They've added some new software and more IT training. The commission has also been able to make sure those working at the polls are better trained to make sure they're addressing some of the issues they've seen when it comes to security in the last couple of years.
The polling places will not look different. There won't be a different presence at the polling places. It will be the same thing that you're used to seeing.
With the new hired security positions, other staff members will be able to return to things like customer service, making sure they're able to answer calls from clerks and poll workers more clearly and effectively. Now, if you have any questions going into tomorrow, we have an election guide available on our website. Just go to channel3000.com. You'll find everything right there. And ladies, I'm hoping the weather isn't going to be keeping people away from the polls this morning, or tomorrow rather. This morning, I'm like having to brace myself and choking on my words with all of this wind out here.
It is going to get even worse later this week. People can just run in and out super fast. Yeah. So it's nice and warm in the polls. There you go. All right,
there you go.
Josh Springer reporting live in downtown Madison. Thank you, Josh.
News 3 is going to have team coverage of the election here in Wisconsin and across the country, starting with CBS News national coverage. That's going to start at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Now, once polls close at 8 o'clock here, we'll be live streaming comprehensive local coverage and analyzing those numbers in real time, both on channel3000.com and our WISC-TV Facebook page. Then at 9, our local coverage will start over on Fox 47, and at 10 p.m., you can join us on WISC for election night coverage you can count on to be fast and accurate.
Turning our attention to first alert traffic this morning, the westbound lanes of Wisconsin 81 are back open near Beloit after a fatal pedestrian crash there last night. The Beloit Police Department says a woman was walking her dog at the intersection of Liberty Avenue and Oak Street when she was hit by a pickup truck just a few blocks west of the Rock River. You can see there. She died from her injuries at the hospital. Her name has not been released at this time. Her dog is getting treatment for life-threatening injuries this morning. Now, this crash is still under investigation, but police say the driver of the truck is cooperating, and it doesn't appear that the crash was his fault.
The man accused of the hit and run that killed 3 Girl Scouts and a mother this weekend is expected to be charged with 4 counts of homicide. The group was picking up trash in a ditch in Lake Haley Saturday, just south of Chippewa Falls. 21-year-old Colton True allegedly went off the road and hit that group. A 4th girl did survive. She's still in the hospital this morning in critical condition. The girls were all 4th graders at local elementary schools. Police say True sped off and left the scene, but later turned himself in.
Janesville police are looking for a suspect after someone shot at 2 homes over the weekend. Those houses are on North Pontiac Drive near Randolph Road. This happened just before 10:45 Saturday night. A caller reported multiple gunshots in the area and said their home had been hit by bullets. No one was hurt in this situation. Police still don't have anyone in custody, so anyone with information is asked to call the Janesville Police Department or the city's Crime Stoppers line.
Middleton police are looking for the man accused of robbing a liquor store last night around 7:30. Police say someone walked into Neal's Liquor on Allen Boulevard with a mask and a gun, then left that store with some cash. Canines couldn't find the man afterward. No one was hurt, but anyone with information, anyone who might have seen something, is asked to call that number there on your screen.
Madison Police Chief Mike Koval is on the west side tonight talking with neighbors about ongoing crime in that area. Officers who work on that side of the city will provide an overview of crime trends, including an increase in car thefts by teens in that area. Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney and Alder Paul Skidmore will join them as well. Tonight's meeting starts at 6 o'clock at Black Hawk Church off Mineral Point Road. It's the latest in a handful of meetings on this topic of safety.
City leaders will be talking about a proposal to add on to East High School at a meeting later tonight. The district wants to build a 6,000 square foot main entrance to its field house that would also add some extra security measures for the school. There's another proposal that would add a second story to that addition. The inside of that section would be built mostly of glass. That's the goal there of modernizing the main entrance to the gym. Now, because East High is on the historical register, Madison's Landmarks Commission has to take up the proposal. They're doing so at their meeting tonight.
Candidates for governor and Congress are making their final campaign pushes ahead of tomorrow's vote. We will update you on that in the morning sprint.
And we talk a lot on this show about phosphorus and how that can affect our lakes and rivers. But UW researchers are looking at the impact of another nutrient on the water we drink. We'll share more on that when News 3 This Morning continues.
Welcome back. It's 6:39 on this Monday morning. We always ask you to share your morning with us, and Trevor had a very different perspective.
Ooh.
Yes, from way up high above Madison, or at least the area. He took this while flying out of Dane County Airport, and you were mentioning it looks a little greener than what we are maybe seeing right now. Maybe this is a little earlier on in the season.
Yeah, by the end of the week, hoping that picture is not white.
Yeah, very true.
Yeesh.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor, for sharing. We appreciate it.
What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page, and we'll share it right here on the program.
Yeah. All right, 6:40 right now.
Yeah.
It's one of those days, everybody. We want to talk a little bit about groundwater this morning. As regulators continue to look into groundwater contamination issues throughout the state, researchers at UW-Madison are learning more about how nitrogen gets into the water we drink and what effects it can have. For more than a century, food processors have reused water from washing vegetables to water open fields and farmland. Most of the impurities were removed, but there's still some question about whether leftover nitrogen pollutes groundwater in residential wells. After a 3-year study, researchers found that most of the nitrogen is harmlessly released into the atmosphere. Researchers say, however, while the results are reassuring, it suggests there are solutions to improve how water is treated to further reduce the possibility of nitrogen actually getting into groundwater.
If you live in Janesville, there's an opportunity today to clean up all the leaves your kiddos might have been jumping in these past few weeks. The city's going to be collecting loose leaves starting this morning through November 15th. They're asking residents to move the leaves from their yards into the street gutters a day or two before their scheduled pickup day. But make sure you don't put those leaves in the storm drains so you can prevent some flooding. Now you can find a map of when crews will be coming through your neighborhood on the City of Janesville's website. Again, this is only for loose leaves. The city's going to be picking up bagged yard waste during the week of November 26th. All right, those leaves might be a little damp this morning. If they didn't get rained on over the weekend, they probably will later today. Hattie's back from her well-deserved week off with a bit of a soggy forecast for your Monday. She'll let us know when we're going to see that rain coming up.
First, though, it is November 5th. We want to say happy birthday to Lacey, Michael, Owen, and everyone turning 3 today. Stay dry and enjoy the big day, you guys. And thanks so much for watching News 3 this morning.
Look who's
Welcome back. You are taking a live look outside right now at the west side of Madison. A little bit of cloud cover to start off our Monday, maybe some rain later today, but we have no chance for snow yet. That's the good news. Hattie's going to tell us about the bottom dropping out of the forecast, though, when it comes to those temperatures later in the week. We'll check in with her in a little bit. Bit of a different picture, though, up in northern Wisconsin, where they're already starting to deal with winter.
I was just checking out all of the, colors changing up there about a month ago. These photos tell a much different story.
Yeah.
This is Carl Wallen in Grandview. It's about half hour away from Ashland in Bayfield County. The National Weather Service says the area got around an inch of snow already.
It looks like a picture out of December, January.
I know.
Too early, folks. And on the eastern side of the state, high winds are causing some serious surf on Lake Michigan. Look at that. That's kind of scary.
That's very scary.
Those gusts are getting up to 45 miles an hour, which means last night's waves were as high as 12 to 14 feet.
Wow.
Woof. Lucky we don't have to see that kind of stuff here on Lake Monona, Abby.
Yeah, that's not Lake Mendota, but that is cold water. I would not want to get wet with those waves. Speaking of water, let's take a look at where we stand so far this year. It's been a very wet year for us. 47.61 inches of rain and moisture so far this year. That puts us in third place. We do have more rain in the forecast, though, so we'll see where we go for the rest of the year through November and December. But we're definitely going to be adding to those totals over the next 24 hours. Here's a look at your precipitation potential through about midday on Tuesday. We have another anywhere from quarter to about half an inch of rain possible across southern Wisconsin. Maybe some slightly higher amounts in the southeastern corner of the state. Overall, looking at the month of November as a whole, it does look like there's a chance for above normal precipitation for much of the eastern part of the country, Wisconsin included in that. No rain falling right now on the Doppler map, though. We're not seeing anything. A little bit of drizzle from time to time in the Hattio patio this morning, but the main batch of rain is still well off to our west. You see that rain, though, as it moves to the east. It is expected to move into southern Wisconsin a little bit later on this afternoon. Temperatures under the clouds are in the 40s from Madison all the way to Kansas City this morning. A little bit cooler up to the north. Minneapolis starts at 37 degrees. Here are the numbers, though, for southern Wisconsin. Watertown's at 40. Juneau now dropping to 39 degrees. It's also 39 in Mineral Point and Platteville this morning. You're definitely going to want the jacket today. Southwesterly winds, a little breezy at times this morning, 8 to 15 miles an hour. They'll stay fairly strong through the day today. Wind chill is not a huge factor, but it feels like 32 here in Madison. Feels like it's a little bit below freezing in the Dells with 30 degrees. Your pinpoint city forecast highs today, 48 in Middleton, as well as Fort Atkinson and Watertown. Cloudy skies, rain moving in late this afternoon into southwestern Wisconsin. 49 for a high in Prairie du Chien. May top at 50 in Muscoda. That'll be one of the warmer spots. To the north, temperatures will top in the upper 40s as well. 47 in Boston, as well as Baraboo. Again, here's a look at future track this afternoon through this evening. Rain spreading into the area, becoming pretty widespread for a time overnight, and then diminishing as we go through the day on Tuesday. So if you are planning on voting early on Tuesday, it's going to be a wet start to the day, but that rain will diminish. Here's a look at your extended forecast. Tuesday kind of starts the big cool down for the rest of the week. We're looking at highs in the low 40s on Wednesday, and then we're stuck in the 30s for highs right through the middle of next week. Some of those nighttime lows dipping into the teens as well. A couple of clipper systems bringing a chance for light snow late Thursday into Friday, and then again late Saturday into Sunday. Oh, here's a look at our pet walk forecast. Look at Teddy. So happy with the sweater on. I think that's a good choice for today. Definitely sweater weather.
Teddy's going to be glad for that sweater later this week, too. Hopefully it has a hood.
Yeah, true.
All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
He's got the fur to back it up. He'll be all right. Morning Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 this morning. 6:52, time for the morning sprint. Addie's calling for another gloomy day with more showers in the forecast.
First, though, Josh Spreiter is live with what the Wisconsin Elections Commission is doing to make sure your vote is secure. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Wisconsin elections officials say they are prepared for anything that comes their way come tomorrow. You may remember back in 2016, Wisconsin was one of the states targeted by Russian operatives. Because of that, the federal government awarded the Wisconsin Elections Commission nearly $7 million in grants for election security. Since then, the state has hired 6 new staff members who are strictly designated with election security. They were also able to purchase new software and provide more training to clerks and poll workers. The commission is reassuring voters that your vote is secure come tomorrow. Governor Walker is also activating the Wisconsin National Guard, saying he wants the Guard's cybersecurity team ready to help if needed.
Thank you, Josh. The candidates for governor and Congress will make their final pushes here in Wisconsin ahead of tomorrow's election. Senator Tammy Baldwin and other Democrats up for election will join Tony Evers for his birthday celebration and a Get Out the Vote event at the Majestic Theater downtown Madison here. Baldwin and Evers will be in Rock County before that.
Republican candidates will also be out making their final push for your vote. U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir will be in Green Bay, Wausau, Eau Claire, and La Crosse before meeting up with other GOP leaders in Waukesha. That's where Governor Walker and outgoing House Speaker Paul Ryan will be as well tonight.
We want to remind you that News 3 will have team coverage of the election starting with CBS News at 7 p.m. tomorrow. We'll be live streaming local coverage starting at 8 p.m. and analyzing numbers and returns in real time on both channel3000.com and the Channel 3000 Facebook page.
And on this Monday morning, we're starting with temperatures near 40 degrees, climbing to highs in the upper 40s this afternoon. A lot of clouds through the day. Later on as well, chances for rain return. Take a look at your probability of precipitation. Relatively low through most of the day, but as you head home from work, rain chances really increase across southern Wisconsin.
Thank you, Hattie. Investigators in Indonesia say Lion Air Flight 610 was intact and its engines running when it crashed into the Java Sea last week. Dive teams are continuing to search for the plane's black box this morning. That contains a cockpit voice recording that could explain what happened in the final moments before all 189 passengers on board were killed. Those investigators, that is, determined the plane did not explode in midair.
The body of a fallen soldier and mayor of a Utah town is headed back to the U.S. from Afghanistan today. Brent Taylor was a major in the Utah National Guard. On Saturday, the 39-year-old died in what officials are calling an insider attack in Afghanistan's capital. Major Taylor was the mayor of North Ogden, a city about 45 minutes outside Salt Lake City. He is survived by his wife and 7 children.
The westbound lanes of Wisconsin 81 and Beloit are back open after being closed for nearly 7 hours last night. That happened when a woman was reportedly hit by a pickup truck. She died at the hospital. Police say the driver of the pickup is cooperating, and while the investigation is still ongoing, it does not appear the crash was his fault.
The man accused of the hit and run that killed 3 Girl Scouts and a mother this weekend is expected to be charged with 4 counts of homicide. The group was picking up trash in a ditch in Lake Hallie Saturday, just south of Chippewa Falls. 21-year-old Colton True allegedly went off the road and hit the group. A 4th girl survived. She's still in the hospital this morning in critical condition.
Madison Police Chief Mike Koval, Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney, and others will be on the west side tonight talking with neighbors about ongoing crime in that area. Officers who work on that side of the city will also provide an overview of crime trends. Those include the increase in car thefts by teens in the area. Tonight's meeting starts at 6 over at Blackhawk Church off Mineral Point Road.
Packers head coach Mike McCarthy is going to be back in Green Bay talking to reporters this afternoon after a loss on the road against Tom Brady and the Patriots. The game was tied at the start of the 4th quarter last night before Aaron Jones fumbled in the first play of that quarter, and the New England Patriots were able to pull away. There was also a controversial ejection after safety Jermaine Whitehead slapped the Patriots center. Final score, 31-17. The Packers host the Miami Dolphins Sunday afternoon.
All right, 6:56 right now. Let's turn it over to Jason Ryan with one more check of traffic. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. The Beltline is free of any delays or holdups on your commute this morning. No delays anywhere across the city. The interstate and highways are all clear of slowdowns on your drive in and out of town. Small backup downtown at Region and West Wash that may take up a minute of your time. Blair and East Wash holding up a bit, too. Your drive times are normal for this Monday morning with currently no issues slowing down traffic at all. With First Alert Traffic, I'm Jason Ryan.
Thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
And it is a cloudy start this morning across southern Wisconsin. You don't need the umbrella right now, but you may want to take it along today. Showers return to the area later on this afternoon and continue through this evening. Temperatures will top in the upper 40s with cloudy skies late this afternoon.
Certainly not a terrible day, at least to start out with, but
that's true. It gets colder later on.
It gets a lot colder.
Yes, it does.
My goodness.
All right, make sure you download that First Alert weather and traffic app to keep an eye on it. Have a great Monday.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert weather app and start planning.